Coming to you all the way from the city of Miami in the sunshine state of Florida, bringing you the latest in the LGBTQ plus community, this is the FayWhat Show with your host, FayWhat.
Buenas noches, mi gente, and welcome to the FayWhat Show. FayWhat! Our show's mission is to entertain, educate, and unite our community with real-life topics in a safe, positive, and fun environment. Because together we win, and you know what? Divided we fall. You know it! So our table topics are human topics. They're conversations that need to be had, and we aren't afraid to have them, and we get to have them with some incredible, incredible people. And today is no different. It's all about the icons in our life, all about the people who have paved the way, and my teleprompter's not working. Boo! Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. Anyway, we're fine. You see what happens when you're on live TV? Anything could happen, right? All right. So, like I was saying, uniting our community is one of the values that we hold close right here at the FayWhat Show. But there are those that have dedicated their entire lives to doing so. And so for this reason, we chose to spotlight these mentors and pavers of our LGBTQ community in the segment that we like to call our gay icons. And then at the end of our show, we'll end the show with a funny segment, the funniest gay signs, because you know we always gotta laugh, right? So let's get started with our first guest. Cindy Brown is our first guest. You guys have heard of her, right? So she's a Florida native. She's lived in Miami since the age of 2. She received an AA degree in music education from Miami-Dade, then went on to the music school at University of Miami. Go UM! After changing majors, she received her bachelor's degree in both psychology and criminology. Where were you when I was getting arrested all those times, Cindy? She received a fellowship for graduate studies in the field of sociology, also at UM. In 1992, she joined the Health Crisis Network and began working on the AIDS Walk Miami and White Party, eventually becoming Assistant Director of Development. She then moved on to Program Director for United Foundation for AIDS. She left UFA to act as President of Synergy Productions, an event production company which produced many successful fundraising events for various local and national organizations such as Save Dade, DIFFA, and GLSEN as well. She has worked with the Health Crisis Network, AIDS Walk Miami, and White Party, like I mentioned. She's held board positions for Save Dade, the Dade Human Rights Foundation, the Gay and Lesbian Foundation of South Florida, the Advisory Committee for the Women's Community Fund, that is Aqua Foundation now. Hi, girls, we love you. She was even the director at Miami Beach Pride, just to name a few of the things that she's done. Wow. And there's a whole lot more that I could have added to that. We could talk about the botanical gardens. I can go on and on. So currently, she is Senior Program Manager of Lambda Living, serving the social, educational, and well-being needs of Miami's LGBT plus 55 and over community. Welcome to the show, the incredible Cindy Brown!
Woohoo!
How are you, my friend?
I'm here. I'm great. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you
said
yes.
And just for clarification,
please.
It's DIFFA, DIFFA, which is the Design Community Fighting AIDS, and GLSEN, which is the Educators Network, LGBT Educators Network.
I love that. That sounds much better than whatever the hell I said when I first started, you know?
Acronyms,
I was
they're
like,
so
DIFFIS.
confusing.
It's like, what is that? Wait, isn't that someone that's going to check on your kids? I don't know, you know? Cindy, thank you for being here,
Oh,
Mama.
it's my pleasure. So happy to be in this chair.
I was telling you before the show that when I was a little itty bitty diaper dyke, I would totally look up to you and was like, oh my God, this woman is like doing everything for us. And I just need to go get my hair done. You know what I mean? Where it's like I should be doing more, you know? Where do we begin? You grew up here in Miami, right?
I did,
How was life? How was growing up? Were you out to your family? When did that happen?
In Miami is where Anita Bryant had her...
The pie in her face girl, right?
The whole, anti-gay, LGBT wasn't something anybody said back then. It was... anti-gay and anti-gay adoption, and Anita Bryant was just really all over the place. And I was in high school. So at a time when, young people are coming to learn about, sexuality, I was kind of lost because I heard in the media all these negative things So I clearly wasn't that. But I just didn't feel, I just didn't feel like I fit anywhere. And, it wasn't until I was at Miami-Dade that I literally had a dream with my boss's wife.
Shut up. Now we're getting the juicy stuff now,
and
right?
that's really how, I woke up and I was like, wow.
So you had a sex dream.
Yeah, I guess.
And then
I don't think it was a sex dream, but yeah. But it was where I, felt this attraction to a woman. And the place I happened to be working at the time, there was an older woman there who, I think she was bisexual. And at the time, there were 2 publications here. This is in the late 70s and 80s, between my high school and my college. I graduated high school in 79. Anita Bryant did her stuff in 77.
Okay, all around the same time.
Yeah. And so I was in Miami-Dade at the time and working, and this person I worked with had David magazines and TWN newspapers, which neither of those publications exist anymore, but they were the only thing that existed. And
so it was like the hot spots of that time.
yeah, exactly. And, so we got to talking, and so she invited me to go to Sebastian's. Now,
wait a minute, is Sebastian Beach what it is now back then?
No.
Okay.
Sebastian's was a lesbian bar on US 1 and 17th Avenue. I think it's a Quiznos now or something like that. But I went there, and it was crazy because the moment I walked in, that whole kind of feeling that I didn't fit anywhere was gone. I walked in, and it was like the weight of the world just lifted off my shoulders.
Wow. It was like,
I
these are my
literally
people.
Felt that, exactly. These are my people, and I can be fully authentic with these people, and it was amazing. And
so that was what opened the door.
That's what kind of opened the door. I don't know, if I didn't have that coworker, I'm not sure how it would have.
It would have happened.
Of course it would have happened.
But that's
Yeah.
a much better, that's a funnier story. Like, I remember
Yeah.
first coming to Miami, and I came to Miami in the late 90s, and I had a boss, right, that I was attracted to, and I didn't know that I was attracted to until I had a dream about,
Right.
yes, having sex with her. That was my dream, folks. And then I woke up, I'm gay, like, for sure,
Yeah, it's funny though, because my best friend in high school, we had gotten into some kind of riff, and I felt super upset about it. And now, of course, not back when I realized, I'm like, that's why I got so upset.
Because you liked her.
The feelings that I had were way more than just friendship.
Yes. Yeah.
But I didn't know that. I couldn't
course.
identify that.
Of course. Like, do you have anybody gay in your family, or anybody that you would have been able
not
to look
that's
up to?
older than me.
Okay.
That I know of.
Got it.
There totally could have been. I think my paternal grandfather had like 5 brothers, and I think one of them was a bachelor. You always kind of suspect.
Of course.
That
Yeah, he
back
lives
in
with
that
his
day.
roommate. How cute.
Yes, right?
So how was the process when you knew? Did you come out right away, or did
No,
you?
I
how was Miami in that time down
it
here?
was-
Was there a gay community?
Not very big, because understand, Anita Bryant just did her whole campaign here in Miami. It was for the whole state, but it was, it happened here in Miami. And
Did that make more LGBTQ people like hide or not want to be?
I don't know, because I was newly out, and
That wasn't your crew.
I
yet.
wasn't
Yeah.
politically involved yet. I was in my early 20s. I was hanging out with the other women and playing softball and doing all that stuff.
Going to Home Depot, the stuff that we do.
No, Home Depot wasn't back then. I don't think Home Depot was even
my
around back then. So I mean,
Mind blown.
We're talking about the early. I'm sure it was around, just not like it is now.
Yeah.
But it was a long coming out process, and actually the coming out process is never ever ever over, because constantly when you meet people, they'll say, "Oh, are you married?" Well, they used to say, "Are you married?" and I would say, "Oh, I'm not allowed." But now I can't say that.
I love that.
But so you come out to people every day, and it was tough with my parents. They probably suspected, but
They always do.
but my girlfriend at the time was spending the night at the house. I still lived with my parents when I was in college, because I went to University of Miami.
You were right
and
there.
I'm here,
Yeah.
And,
Were there any gay people at UM?
yeah. So that was good. But there wasn't a gay group. I just knew other gay people who went to school there. But my parents found out that my girlfriend spent the night, and I guess I came home and I told them, "Oh, she's going to spend the night." And my mom turned to my dad and said, your daughter's gay, don't you?"
Wow, your dad outed you to your mom
No,
like
my
that?
mom outed me
To your dad.
to my dad, and
Because, that
was-
men usually kind of like are aloof about it. Like they
Well,
don't want to see what's going on.
I think the reality is my mom had a much, much harder time with it than my dad did.
Really?
And, I was a total tomboy. They sent me, back in the day, Burdines had this summer charm school.
Burdines was a store that doesn't exist anymore. It used
Exactly.
to be like a Macy's down here in South Florida. Just to let you know.
Right.
I used to love Burdines.
So they signed me up for this charm school where I learned how to paint my nails and put on
Shut
makeup.
up! Walk around with a book on your head? That kind of deal?
Exactly.
What? Oh my
And
God.
for the final thing, we got to go in the store and pick any outfit we wanted for the fashion show.
Nice.
I picked like these pants and a top, and all these other girls, all these
picked, like, a
fancy frilly dresses.
You pick like cargo shorts and like Birkenstocks, or like what? This is what I want to wear.
But they were long pants, and I think my parents weren't thrilled with the choice, but it was my choice. And I think when I was walking down the fashion show, I was so focused on trying to walk right. My dad says I was like this, with my tongue sticking out while I'm walking, because that helped me think,
left,
right?
left, right.
So I don't think that that charm school had the effect or impact that my mom.
It probably solidified the fact of who you really were.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it
you're
was
girly
so-
in your own way. It's
Right.
not a big. Again, I've been stalking you. So some of the pictures
I've gone
of you
through some changes
from the 70s and 80s when you had that Farrah Fawcett do.
Of
I just wanted to
course.
slap a bathing suit on you and take a picture. I was
Well,
like,
you know
what,
what?
Cindy?
I do have a very provocative picture in a bathing suit, but I would not put that on my Facebook page.
Yet. Let's see if we
Maybe.
can find
Yeah,
it.
so.
When I think of you, Cindy, and one of the reasons why you are our gay icon of this month is because of all the firsts that you are, that you represent. You were, first for the AIDS organization in Miami. These organizations like this, like people take, we don't appreciate that these things didn't exist before. You were the first executive director, LGBTQ, the visitor center. That visitor center has come and saved my ass so many different times. It's ridiculous when I lived on the
Yeah.
beach. What was happening around you during that time that there was such a need for the AIDS walk, for White Party?
This is kind of what happened. I had a total life change. So in 1992, just a few days ago in 1992, Hurricane Andrew came.
Yes.
And it devastated this community, and the places that I worked got destroyed. So I was driving up to Tamarack to do some work, but I decided that I wanted to do something different. So after Hurricane Andrew, the Miami Beach Convention Center had the AIDS quilt displayed. And I went there and, saw quilts of people that I didn't even know had died, and it was, really hard. And, I walked around to all the booths, and Health Crisis Network was there. Health Crisis Network is, Care Resource is now what Health Crisis Network used to be. They took it over.
And they were the ones who put together the AIDS Walk.
Well, Health Crisis Network,
Yes.
back in the day, and they had already been doing the AIDS Walk and the White Party. I just came on literally, Andrew was in August. The quilt must have been in September. I walked around, picked up business cards. I sent Health Crisis Network a letter, and it said, I don't know if you're looking for any position, if you're looking for any people.
I don't know if you need a badass lesbian, but if you do,
it was something
I'm
like
available.
that. And I said, look, I'm not a sit at my desk all day kind of person. And I got a call from Gary Keating, who was the development director at the time, set up an interview. There were two volunteers, two older women who both had lost their sons to AIDS. And they were in there. They were in there during my whole interview. And so the interview was over, and I left. And come to find out, the two of them looked at Gary and said, hire her. And I was hired in October. And in November, in December for Winter Party that year, White Party that year, sorry. Everything gets meshed up. We had to do it at the Biltmore because Hurricane Andrew trashed Vizcaya. So the one year that the White Party was at the Biltmore, of course Madonna came and wore black.
Oh, I love that. You heard it here first. How cool is that?
Yeah,
But
so-
Madonna can do whatever she wants.
Right.
You know what I mean? She could grow up she could show up dressed like a fart and it wouldn't matter. Like, it's
Right,
Madonna.
exactly. But so that was that was the beginning of my work and involvement in the LGBTQ
And you've never looked
community.
back though, Cindy. Since
Absolutely
then,
not.
you have worked. Me and the boys were joking before. I'm like, if she wants to look for another job, how in carnations would she find another organization that she hasn't worked for? Like, it was like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, I think that I had different passions, and some people say, oh, well, you kind of jumped around a lot, but I've also kind of created things and left them.
You started them up and you built them up, and then
like
you said it
Pride.
was time for me to move on. 'Cause-
Miami Beach Pride.
which is now in what year is it on now?
Well, the first one was in 2009,
Okay.
so we're up there.
Yeah.
And I was the director for the first 3 years. And what was great about that is there were two things. I said there's something great and something bad. And they're the same thing. The bad thing is it was never done before, so I had to create it from scratch, everything. And the good thing was I got to create it from scratch.
Yes.
I got to plan an event that was a 2009 event, that was representative of families. We started the legacy couples in that first year because
that
we
was
wanted
beautiful.
to show that, these couples have been together a long time. We had, this couple, one was a Korean vet and the other one was a Vietnam vet, and they'd been together like 50 years.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you guys still have a float every year.
Yeah,
for
there's
the
still
legacy
a float.
couple
Yeah,
float, right?
of course. And that's, I think that is a big part of the parade. And, I credit Chuck Wallace. Here, hats off to you, Chuck Wallace, because it was his idea. He was on my very first parade committee, and it was his idea.
Well, Miami didn't have anything like that. Fort Lauderdale had been doing theirs. They
Yeah.
had their stone wall already. They had the Miami Beach, the Fort Lauderdale one, but they didn't have.
Well, I
Miami
think that
didn't.
the difference is that before this current iteration of Pride, the last Pride event was the year that Matthew Shepard died. And that was also the year that we were bringing back the human rights ordinance to the commission for the county, and the efforts were so focused on that there wasn't, because there wasn't a group or anything. It was, volunteers just organizing this thing, and there wasn't, a committed group to, put on Pride. It's a lot of work.
I can imagine.
The focus was on the political. So, when Maddie Bauer became mayor, she said, "Why isn't there a gay pride on the beach?" And I was the lucky one that got chosen to be the director and to create it. So,
wow. Incredible.
So I'm the grandma of Pride.
Well, and you're also part, I know that they did a whole campaign on the Faces of Pride, and you're
Right.
also on there, right?
Right.
That was such a perfect choice. When I saw that you were selected, I was like, oh, of course.
Well, I think that the purpose of Faces of Pride are to represent, the diverse community that we live
that we
in.
are.
There's young, there's old, there's, people of color, there's men, there's women. I mean, it's just a whole mix of folks. And yeah,
Let's talk about Miami Beach Pride real quick. It's coming up.
It's happening.
Do you think that they're being careful and doing the right thing by having it this year?
Well, I mean,
And I've heard both sides.
Right.
And
Well,
understand.
If they could, I'm really torn, because they are doing some really great things, like they want you to register for Pride, regardless. If you're going to go down to Loomis Park on either of those 2 days, go online and register, so they have a sense of the number of people who are coming.
I mean, there's usually 150,000 people easily to a Miami Beach
over
Pride.
the 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah. But I know that there are a lot of people who've said to me they're not going.
Okay.
But, I run Lambda Living for Jewish Community Services, which serves LGBT seniors. And each year at Pride, we host the Lambda Living Lounge for the more experienced Pride goer, as I like to say.
Got it.
And, it's a place, it's a larger tent. We provide free water and healthy snacks.
Nice.
And, it gets hot out there sometimes. And we want the more experienced Pride goers to come and hang out and cool off and have something to drink, and then, go dance and maybe come back again.
Yeah.
So they don't have to leave. And
When it becomes too much or overwhelming, or there's just too much happening, that they just need
they
a
can
safe
come
place
into
to go decompress.
Right. So we're operating that. So
And you're still having it this year.
yes, because seniors will still be going.
Yes.
So it's, we know that they're going to be there. And if we are not there, then, they won't have this opportunity. So, and also I'm one of the Faces of Pride. So I have a commitment to Pride to be representative.
I love that you were a part of them and you were a part of starting their Pride, yet you still help, you still consult, you're still available if they need to go, hey,
Right.
can you take this up? Sure.
Well, it's my community. And Lambda Living is the only LGBT senior organization in Miami-Dade County. So who else would take care of that tent?
Yeah.
But I'm very cautious. I am a cancer survivor, so I have to
So
be
am
careful.
I, my
Yes.
friend. Yeah.
Cancer thriver. I'm a thriver.
I like that better.
Yes.
Or a cancer ass kicker. How
Yeah,
about
that too. Yeah.
So our immune systems are compromised already.
Right,
There
so
needs to
I'm
be a
very-
sense of safety.
Yeah. I wear a mask when I go out, and
You were one of the first people I knew vaccinated too.
Yeah.
When that came across.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a booster, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it before October. So we'll see. I'd like to get it before Pride, but I have been vaccinated, and I will be wearing a mask the entire time at Pride. It will never come off, and I hope others do too.
Yeah, me
I hope
too.
others do too.
too.
And the last thing that I want is a super spreader event.
Of course.
And me testing positive.
No,
The last
God
thing I
forbid.
want is COVID. So, it's kind of a hard question to answer. And I know that, Pride wasn't able to happen last year. Their funding is at stake if they don't have some kind of an event this year.
No one got hurt more than 501c3s and
Exactly.
especially in LGBTQ communities.
Right. And,
I mean,
a lion's share of the funds that Pride receives is through liquor sales at the event. I mean, we're talking, $100,000, maybe $200,000.
yeah.
So that's
And
a
how do you
significant
drink
hit.
and how do you drink those drinks? You drink them without a mask. So I mean, it's scary. It's scary. But I think, like you said, if you're taking care of yourself and you're vaccinated, I got my booster shot a couple of weeks ago. I'm not playing around, and then you go and you set your own boundary. You if you want to
Right.
hug people, that's up to you. But like prides are so important to us. It's prides began with a protest, as you know,
Exactly.
and this is our
Yeah.
time to like come together and rejoice and be able to share that love.
Yeah, and the other side of it is, the hidden part of the community with COVID, people who are living in households that are not accepting are starving for an opportunity like Pride.
For sure.
And it's a catch-22 because, they really need it.
Yeah.
Because there's no other place where you feel that,
There's a high percentage in our community of people that have chosen family, not
Right,
blood family,
right.
because a lot of our families have shunned us or have said that there's no
Right.
place for our style of our estilo de vida, like my mom likes
Lifestyle.
to say, and like
not a
because because it's
lifestyle,
her
it's who
choice,
I
yeah,
am.
because it's what we want.
So that means she can choose to be with a woman if she wants?
Exactly. Right? So let's talk about COVID a little bit more on the other side of it. Let's talk about someone who basically single-handedly killed about 300,000 people by himself. Mr. Cheeto Head himself, Mr. Trump. You spent the 90s, you spent the 2000s fighting for so many of our rights, for making sure that a lot of our bills were taken up to Tallahassee and being part of that group. How were those 4 years for you when Trump came into office?
Well,
The dark years.
the dark years, yeah. And, it's not so much Trump as it is Trump's effect on the Republican Party. Because we are seeing, all over the country, Republican legislatures in the states passing these anti-LGBTQ bills, anti-trans bills, bills that don't protect students in schools. And it's the Republican Party that I'm really shocked at.
That all of a sudden they have a voice. All of a sudden they got a voice. Because this is not new things that they all of a sudden starting feeling. It was that Trump gave them the okay.
Right. But what's shocking is the amount of support that people are giving them
Yeah.
for this, that, public surveys show overwhelmingly that people support, well, I should say they support lesbian and gay rights. More are starting to support transgender rights, but these Republican legislatures and elected officials like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh God, please.
I mean, she is.
Please, girl.
And Matt Gaetz here
Yeah.
in Florida, they're really dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Someone could listen to their words the wrong way.
People do.
Their hate speech.
People
And
do,
Yeah.
and that's why they're dangerous.
Let's talk a little bit about the trans community. As you know, here's another first for you. You're the first lesbian in studio on the FayWhat show.
Oh,
So
wonderful!
thank you for that. Thank you. Do you think that we have it easier in the acronym? Do you think that the lesbians have it easier than any other letters in the LGBTQ plus?
I think, for the most part, the answer is yes.
Okay.
But there are, I mean, I'm butch, I wear boys. I'm a
you're
soft butch,
honey,
right?
because you're cute. So,
Right,
yeah.
but there are women that are not soft, and there are a lot of
They don't pass. Like
they
say.
don't pass, and they don't meet the standards of what it is to be a woman. But they're very much women, and I think that for them, it's harder. I do think that lesbians, if you're married, that's awesome, and you should be supported. But nobody questions two old ladies that are walking holding hands because they're just supporting each other's to walk. We can't walk on our own, or something. So I think that women walking in the community, if they're not obvious, aren't going to get harassed.
Yeah.
It's the masculine presenting women that get harassed. And flipping it for the trans community, trans men have a much easier time moving around in the world. They look like small men. Or some aren't even small,
I asked Raji, Raji,
of
I
course.
asked Raji on the last show that same question about if passing trans men had it easier. And she said, yes, absolutely.
they
And
do.
that most of them are supported by our community. But the second that they get their operation and they pass, they leave.
Exactly.
Like they don't need us anymore.
Right.
You agree with that statement as well?
I agree with it for the most part.
For the most
but
part. Of course, there's
there are
exceptions
many.
to everything.
Right,
I don't
right.
want, anybody to call us and get mad.
And the other thing is that doors fly open for men. So, a trans man is potentially going from a situation where they
tomboy girl
are disrespected to one where
they're held in high regard and they get to run
Exactly.
shit, basically.
And with trans women, it's very dangerous.
Very.
And especially for some that, they still have that aggressive male testosterone. And
well, it's called the transition for a reason.
No,
it takes
yeah,
some
but
time.
what I'm saying is that the community can't handle that.
The abruptness of it.
Yeah, and also, unfortunately, for those who have suffered their whole life and finally can live their true selves, when they're 50 or 60, it's hard after that many years to be able to transition and fully develop, features. But I think that, trans women of color especially are, the most vulnerable.
Yeah, they're most marginalized.
Absolutely,
They're the most hurt. They're the ones in most danger. So that brings me to my next question, Cindy. Trans women are women. That's it, plain and simple, right? We have to refer to them as trans women because we're in reference to, but trans women are women. That's it.
I know where you're going with
we're
that.
We're women. We are women.
Yes.
Why don't lesbians and trans women connect more? Why is that? Like, one of my best friends in the whole entire world, Shay Schaefer, is a trans woman. And this journey that we have been on together is something that I can't even begin to put words to because we help each other. She educates me. I learn about the trans experience.
Right.
And then I get to teach her about a biological woman's experience from birth.
Right.
And we guide each other. And it's a beautiful thing. How come I don't see more of that?
Well, I think there are a couple of reasons. And one is, and I hate this, there are some members of the lesbian community who don't accept them as women.
Wow.
And
that's a hard pill to swallow.
That is a hard pill to swallow,
but
it's
true. Thank you for bringing your truth at us, because I'm like, holy shit,
there
she's
are,
right.
And some of them are older, but, I think, the Michigan Women's Music Festival dissolved over that issue.
What do you mean?
That it was for women-born women only.
Oh my God.
And so it split. And now they have a smaller event that is for women-born women only. But the fact that it exists is...
What other reason?
And the other reason is I think that trans women relate more to gay men than lesbians. And I think that the things they like to do are, I mean, there are some really party lesbians, but I think for the most part,
yeah, we can't even keep bars open.
right.
We're not big on
I
party,
think that is the second reason. But there are some trans women like Jessica Lamb, who's
incredible.
I mean, she's on the board of Aqua, so she's very much involved with the lesbian community. I just think it depends upon, the lifestyle.
Okay.
You know?
And the education. And I think that for a lot of lesbian women that are older is also like, okay, I'm not going to learn anything else. I've already been through
And, trust me,
hell and high water.
I have made the decision that for those people that I know who feel that way, I don't even bring it up. I don't even bring it up because it's a losing battle. And, I mean, some of the clients that I serve at Lambda Living. So, I don't bring it up with them. It's their thing. I think that younger women are way more accepting.
Okay.
And many older women are absolutely accepting and open. But it's like, there were a lot of women separatists back in the day, the 60s and 70s. And this comes from that, that group.
That thought process. Yeah, we're moving at a snail's pace. You're presently senior program director over at Lambda Living, and so they take care of the needs of LGBTQ folks 55 and over. Are we not paying enough attention?
No,
to those? Okay.
We're not.
Wow, plain and simple. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're not. I mean, I think that what we see are, when we go to fundraising and stuff, there's a lot of older people there. They have money, older people with money. There are more that don't have money. So, JCS has all kinds of wraparound services. We do case management, counseling, we have a food bank. I actually provide Publix gift cards so they can use them for toiletries that they can't buy with food stamps.
And it's not just for Jewish, and it's not just
for
Jewish older folks.
It's for everybody.
I volunteered once to do.
It's everybody.
We gave food out in Miami Beach, and we went to certain addresses, and I was like, oh, okay, you're Jewish, and no, I'm not. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah, we operate under basic Jewish values, and there's a phrase called tikkun olam.
Okay, and what does that mean?
It means repair the world. Leave the world in a better place that you found it.
Tikkun olam.
And that's, and that's kind of how the agency operates. And, there's no religious requirements at all. I guess if you're going to the kosher food bank, you should keep kosher because we have a lot of different meal services. But no, and, I think that there are several issues like affordable housing. I mean, I know LGBT seniors that live off of like $800 a month.
Wow.
And there's no affordable housing, and it's against the law to have, LGBT only housing. Wilton Manors, the Pride Center, just opened their residence at Equality Park, and it's fantastic.
Oh, that's
but there's
beautiful.
not enough units.
Yeah.
We need like
hundreds.
50 of them.
God, yeah.
A lot. So, there are a lot of challenges for the seniors, but we are having a fundraiser.
Okay, well, tell our viewers about the fundraiser.
Yeah, we're going to have a no gala on September 30th.
All right, I already like how this is going.
COVID restrictions. You can stay at home. Depending upon what level you want to sponsor, we'll send you, a gift box with surprises or a charcuterie tray and a bottle of wine.
I love charcuterie.
Or a dessert platter and wine. And we're also going to have a silent auction. The silent auction will probably launch during Pride. And
awesome.
It will end on that. So, checking out Lambda Living's Facebook, and I'll make sure that you have it so you can share it too.
And I will put it all over FayWhat as well, all our social media. Cindy, I could talk to you for like 3 more hours.
I know. I'm like, how long have we been talking? A long time.
I know. Would it be awful if I asked you to come back sometime?
No, it wouldn't.
I'd love that. I want to put
I would
together
be
like
happy to.
like a lesbian panel, and I think that you would be fantastic for it. So again, thank you, Cindy, for being on our show. Thank you for being the first lesbian in studio on the FayWhat show. That's my girl. I love you so much. And in case that you don't know, you guys know that I'm on Queer News Tonight on Monday and Wednesdays on the Happening Out Television Network. And Miss Cindy Brown is one of our beautiful anchors, and we always have a blast together when she's on being one of the guest anchors. So make sure that you look out for that as well. So Miss Cindy, make sure that you follow Cindy on all social media platforms as well. And we're going to put all that information up for you as well. And Miss Cindy, thank you, baby. We love you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Faye. What a great way to spend part of an evening.
Thank you. Yeah, a rainy evening with Faye.
Right.
Well, folks, so FayWhat prides itself on talking about whatever, so nothing is off limits. But for all the seriousness, there has to be some laughter too, because laughter cures everything, right? We all know that. So now it's time for our funny, fun segment, the gayest, funniest book titles. All right, first book title. Gays, you stay. Trump, sashay away. That doesn't need anything, right? Isn't that awesome? Thank goodness he's gone. All right, I'm going to get that book ASAP. Next, being gay is like glitter. It never goes away. Like ever. Okay, I went to a strip club once and then I came home. I had glitter stuck all over me. There was no way for me to tell the girl I was with that I was just at an AA meeting. Bitch, you got glitter all over you. And you smell like... Anyway, okay, we'll leave that there. Next. Sorry I took my pants off at your gender reveal party. I thought everyone was participating. How come I don't get invited to parties like that? I get invited to actual gender reveal parties. And for someone that doesn't have children, I'd rather go to your doggy's birthday. Just to let you know. Next, Mike Pence blocked me on Grindr. Oh, wow. And you should count your blessings for that because he kept me on. Yeah. Next. Mr. Trump, build your wall. Mr. Trump, build your wall. We'll fix it with glory holes. Wow, glory holes. Some of us in our community, you guys should not be outside. Seriously. All right. Number 6, funniest sign. Homosexuality is an abomination to God Almighty. Okay, never missed a gay event. No, I don't. Yeah, you never miss a gay event. Of course. Number 7. I asked what LGBTQ meant, but I couldn't get a straight answer. Sorry, I love that. You ever been in a car with someone and you're like, forward, never straight, and they're like,
I do that all the time.
Right? Where it's like, forward, never straight. Like it's going to mess up our gayness
gaily
or something,
forward.
right? Gaily forward. Let's go gaily forward. I love that. Number 8, if Liza can marry 2 gay men, why can't I marry 1? There was a time in Vegas that I woke up with a gay boy's ring on my finger, and I was really freaked out. Like, true story. I thought we had gotten married. Anyway, we didn't. And that was the funniest gay signs, all right? If you see a gay sign or you have an idea or a story that you'd like to share, we want to hear all about it. Cuéntanos. Send it over, and it might be featured in one of our upcoming segments on the FayWhat Show. So send them our way on our Instagram page at FayWhat YouTube, or you can email us at info@faywhat.com. So, what a great show. I have to thank the incomparable, the wonderful Miss Cindy Brown for gracing us with her presence. I feel smarter just sitting next to her. I think my boobs feel bigger too. I don't know. Anyway, and those behind the scenes, I can't do any of this without you guys. My producer, my director, my love, my brother, Luisito Flores, our project manager, Mr. David Fernandez, that always makes sure that I look on point and my hair looks lit. And all of you for letting us do our thing every single week. Please join us next week for another great show. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like us on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. Share. So, a gay icon is a public figure who is regarded as a cultural icon of the LGBTQ plus community. The most widely recognized gay icons are usually celebrities: Judy Garland, Diana Ross, Madonna, Janet Jackson, Cher, Laverne Cox, Lady Gaga. However, the term is also applied to politicians, authors, and other historical figures relatable to the cause of the LGBTQ plus community. Harvey Milk, Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera. These are the people who fought so you and I can love whoever the hell we damn well please. Pride weekend isn't all about getting messed up and partying. Find out how we got here, okay? On whose shoulders you're standing on when you are free to walk down the street holding your boo's hand. Remember that, okay? I also want to take a pause to send a big, huge, love, warm hug to my kitty Meow that is debuting his very first show tonight at 9 p.m. And guess who's on it? Me. Yes, FayWhat. I'll be assisting with the entertainment segment of his show. He's going to have DJ Kid Madani, Kevin Aviance, and a very sexy bartender from Johnson's. Yeah, have you been to Johnson's? Yeah, Brian is just super, super hot. I also want to ask that you send prayers to all the folks affected by the hurricanes in Louisiana, Haiti, and Puerto Vallarta. I was just there volunteering in Puerto Vallarta, and this hurricane hit days after we were gone, and it's heartbreaking what's happened. So if you got a couple extra bucks, send it their way. Yo soy FayWhat, and I thank you for allowing me to be me every single week, sending you love, peace, and happiness to all. Los quiero. Stay gay.